This charter was set up by Paul Fedorkos for his wife's 50th birthday, Jill. Jill did not know the location of her birthday party. Datum Charter selected St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A quick 3-hour, 41-minute flight from Miami put us right into Kingstown in St. Vincent Island. A fast, comfortable taxi ride got us into our marina location in the Blue Lagoon. And in this beautiful lagoon, we were able to spot our 41-foot catamaran, our home for the week. Hot and sticky weather drove us to the nearby pool, a little bit of a beach time afterwards, and then we headed for a happy hour with this beautiful Blue Lagoon views. Soon enough, it was sunset and time for dinner at the nearby Young Island Resort. This island has its own private water ferry, and in 2 minutes, we arrived to this beautiful island, and this oasis was all ours, really. We came to where the stories run deep. Pristine nature was in the backdrop. Recipes were ancestrally handed down. Oh yeah, our group knew we came for a beautiful dinner. The moonshine bar across from us was raucous. The aroma of the bread was everywhere. The ambiance was more than perfect. We enjoyed a beautiful dinner and a beautiful night. Departed the Blue Lagoon at 1:22 p.m., and our destination was the island of Mustique. The passage plan called for 15.64 nautical miles. It took us 2 hours and 40 minutes at a 5.8 knots. Our top speed was 8.5. While we knew the 32-island archipelago nation was gonna blow our mind, but the tidal stream was something to be reckoned with. We had to head quite a bit east so that we can gain enough to pass around Bequia, putting our bow into Bequia.
All right, we are heading to Mustique.
With the island of Bequia on our starboard side, we put our bow towards Bequia on our port side, and again, that is because of the strong tidal stream. We had to face more east until about a mile and a half when we see the waves crashing off the headland of Bequia. Then we know it's good to turn. Well, here we are, made it around the turn, and the waves are crashing on the headland. All that backwashing that we're worried about and the wind conversions is now behind us. Dropped our bow down. It was about 15 degrees, and we were sailing towards the western side of Mustique. And with the ferry passing by, it was about 4 o'clock, and my crew was getting ready for the mooring ball.
And Jill, look at them getting ready for the mooring ball. Woohoo!
All right, we got the garage door open.
We're here.
And we have arrived.
Yes, that is one of the nicest features on a Bali catamaran, that fully open back garage door that gives you that wonderful airflow. But sunset came fast, and it was time to get ready for dinner. We heard that many famous people live on this island, but our eyes were set on Basil's Bar, the world-famous Basil's Bar. And being such a short distance to the bar from our vessel, we took this nighttime dinghy ride with no problems at all.
Ooh, look at you guys at Basil's Bar. Woohoo!
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It was another great night with a great growing friendship.
Because of our late arrival, we decided to spend a second day on Mustique Island. We took advantage of the daytime and replenished our provisions. We wanted to tour the island, but realized there are only 3 taxis and none responded. We kept imagining that we saw Bryan Adams peeking out of his balcony, watching us, maybe waving, and we wanted to rent horses on the beach, but that also required pre-booking, and they were sold out.
No island tour? No problem. Took the jump into this beautiful turquoise water.
We wanted to go to the famous Firefly Hotel, but could not get there since it's now private. However, we discovered the Cotton House Hotel offered a free ride that we took and arrived just in time for the most beautiful sunset at Endeavor Bay, the social hubs of the Toes in the Sand Beach Cafe and the atmospheric Great Room Bar. After a quick drink at the Beach Cafe, we headed to explore the hotel. The glorious veranda restaurant wraps around the central clubhouse building, which was designed back in 1968. They specialize in Venetian ingredients and flavors. Yes, our dinner was amazing. We were delighted to have a lovely ending to an early day filled with no-goes, and it turned out to be a fantastic adventure. Saturday, March 9th, 8:30 a.m. departure from Mustique Island, heading toward Mayreau.
The most difficult thing about this is actually how deep the angle can actually be sometimes. If the wind is anything left of like 0.7, your wind angle is almost 150, 160 apparent. And the Genoa keeps kind of getting blanketed behind the main as you sit, particularly as you sail out of the bay. And a lot of that is that, remember, the breeze coming over the land is going to be left bent coming off the shore. So you're even more kind of backed as you try to sail out of the bay. Ellis Island Reef, as you sail out of the bay in the morning with the sun to the east of you, and you try to turn up to get the jib to set and bear back off, you're walking closer and closer up to that reef. So just bear in mind that it is there, and it is in the glare that you're seeing. So you're going to want to just remember that you've got a bit of a boundary to windward of us.
Okay.
Very often when I sail out of Mustique, if I'm finding it hard to get my bow comfortably down west of Canouan, when I get west of the island and into a bit of current there, I jibe. I want to use the island for protection from the swell, which is predominantly the sort of regular 8-second swells coming in this way. So I'm kind of like in this area, but I'm trying to get far enough down to get into the actual current, right? With the help of the current, 30 minutes, you're sort of like 4 or 5 miles downhill, and now your angle down towards Mayreau is like 110.
Passing Catholic Island here and its rusty Easter cardinal, we arrived Mayreau at 11:45 a.m. We were pleasantly welcomed by a floating turtle. We had skipped Salt Whistle Bay for good reasons and went to Tobago Bay.
There's 350 people living on Mayreau, depending if the kid's home from school or not. There's an old church as you come out of the bush on your left-hand side. But the view from the back of the church also of Mayreau Gardens and that reef system is spectacular. So it's worth the walk up the hill just to go and see that view within itself. The village itself has some nice little restaurants and bars, a few small little stores, kind of like what you would have at a gas station back home. You get very basic stuff like, you know, some Coca-Cola or some sugar or something like that, but nothing too fancy.
Because of the iffy mooring balls in Salt Whistle Bay, and we didn't want our AC intake to be clogged in this crowded anchorage, we visited it by dinghy from our quiet location of Tobago Bay.
We don't recommend going to Salt Whistle Bay. Super crowded. You got to get there super early if you really do want to go. Overall, it was still beautiful and a wonderful time. So we had lunch at the Coconut Beach Bar and Restaurant.
Great food, but it's 2:30 p.m. Left Salt Whistle and headed back to Tobago to check out the Mayreau Beach Club. The night scene was similar. Nobody's around, we pretty much had the resort to ourselves and free to do whatever the heck we want, and the staff was very helpful and let us do that. So we fired up the hookah.
Oh, whoa! Tell us about sunglasses.
Yeah, that's what it says right on it.
From there, we headed down to the beach. All to ourselves, we created a bonfire, gathering up whatever we could find.
It's a happy birthday fire right here on the beach. Jill is burning up the bad things of her birthday, and the good things shall remain.
Last of the 50s right here, people. Last of the 50s.
You guys got a bonfire on the beach? Dang.
Dona nobis pacem pacem. Dona nobis pacem.
9 a.m. was our departure time. Left Mayreau and said goodbye to this beautiful resort where we had a wonderful evening, all to ourselves pretty much, not mentioning that lonely nude sailor we had next to us. Passage plan for the day called for slightly over 4 nautical miles. A short cruise today took us less than an hour, about 55 minutes. The destination, Union Island, and specifically Clifton Harbor. A word of caution about Clifton.
Clifton was like you wouldn't take tourists in there. It was like a dangerous kind of like rough place, like, you know, not a friendly vibe at all. But the islanders did a really good job of cleaning all of that up, creating a nice waterfront. Restaurants, bars began to flourish, hotels, and the whole thing started to work really nice. Then it's like that generation have aged out, and there's a new group of like 16, 18-year-old kids out running speedboats around and stuff, and they're doing a lot of the same shit that used to happen in the 90s, which is like, we had one of our boats, the guy said, "Come follow, I'll take you to the mooring," and drove him straight into 3 foot of water, like over the edge of a reef. And then within seconds, like they swarmed in, and they're like, "We'll pull you off, but it's $3,000 if you take this line."
Well, lucky for us, all went well. We relaxed on the boat before checking out the town in the afternoon. From there, we went to the nearby Happy Island for lunchtime.
Here we are at Happy Island. How cute and happy is this place?
You guys from America? Canada?
Yes.
Yeah, America.
Well, after all these happy times at Happy Island, it was time to have happy hour at our happy vessel for a special happy birthday. The ensuing party took place at the Bougainvillea Bar and Restaurant. Their menu featured a homemade pizza. Definitely was yummy. But what caught our eyes were those lobsters. Check their eyes out. We chowed them down, lit the fireworks on the cake, cut it up, served it, and shared it with a local official. I believe he was the mayor. Almost midnight, and headed back to the vessel, where we gave Jill and Paul some alone time. And look at that, somebody put the hot dog in the bun. Day 6's destination was Palm Island, a short 1.5 nautical miles trip, about 15 minutes. When anchoring here, make sure you head up until the set's figured out because of the strong currents.
What's your name? Paul. Paul? Jill. Nice to meet you, Jill. Nice to meet you. And you are?
Barry.
Captain Barry.
This wonderful manager came all the way to the end of the dock to meet us and greet us to this wonderful resort. Only $150 give you access to the entire facility. And yes, the bicycles were included too. $150 per couple. What a deal. All inclusive, and the best of it all is food and drinks were included all day.
All right.
He didn't like me at all. We headed back to the bar where they were holding a crab race. After that, we returned to the vessel for our late day snack. Lobster pizza. Super yummy. 9:40 a.m. on day 7, we departed Union Island and headed north-northwest towards the Tobago Cays. Today's sailing against the wind gave us an average of 5 nautical miles. For this passage plan, we prepared the sails to head north into the wind.
Here comes a big wave.
Hold on,
Hold
guys.
on.
That's different sailing. Now we're going upwind.
With the point of sail set, the crew braced for riding the waves. With all the mooring balls taken, we decided to drop anchor, plenty of sand for good holding. And of course, we didn't forget to set the bridle. You can see the chain, relaxed, no tension on the windlass.
Paul is chillaxing on the stern while Jill is hard at work shopping. And the captain is doing captain things.
In the room, and I get so excited just from her perfume. Electric eyes that you can't ignore, and passion burns you like never before.
A.m. departure for day number 8. We left this beautiful anchorage in the Tobago Cays where 8,000 yachts visit a year. We cruised inside the Horseshoe Reef and checked out Bequia Island. Passage plan today calls for 6.5 nautical miles, an hour and a half cruise, 4 knots as we go upwind again to Canouan Island. Heading up to Canouan, our plans were to go to Sandy Lane Marina and skip Grand Bay and its iffy mooring balls. We found out that Sandy Lane has a fantastic marina, and check out this entry, well marked with the green and red markers. And we heard that they have the best facilities after Gibraltar, air-conditioned bathrooms and showers. And that is why we had an early arrival of 11 a.m. so we can enjoy the facilities.
Alright, he's ready. The girls are ready.
With so much wind, one thinks that the docking could be a little tricky, but this marina is so nice and wide and well laid out that it was not a problem docking at all. Backed the boat slowly and carefully into the wide open dock, and my first mate Paul tossed the line perfectly to the deckhand. Because of the prevailing conditions, we secured the starboard quarter properly, and then first mate Ann headed to the bow to make sure the lines are set there. With birthday girl Jill handling the video duties, the three of us adjusted the fenders to proper levels. From there, we were set, snug as a bug, and ready to enjoy the day. We got ourselves a nice gas-powered golf cart and head out of the bay, the Grand Bay, and its marina, Sandy Lane, so we can go into the island and explore its towns. Interesting to know that more than 200 years after Columbus laid eyes on St. Vincent, the Europeans established a kind of permanent settlement. Its mountainous and heavily forested geography allowed the Caribs to defend against the European settlements here longer than almost any other island in the Caribbean. Dang! Canouan is a small island, with its highest point being Mount Royal, which unfortunately we didn't get a chance to hike. After touring the island, we stopped at Charleston's Bay's Soho House Hotel for some R&R. Okay, enough shenanigans on board. Let's check out the real shenanigans. A cool place, t-shirts, shorts allowed. Check it out. Day 9, 7:30 a.m. Canouan departure.
We got an early start on this 4-hour sail, 22 nautical miles. We came back at Neeps, so we had a 3-hour westerly set over a 4-hour sail. We steered at 05 with the wind direction somewhere between 0 and 8, so we pointed a little bit below where we actually needed to go. We were tempted to pinch, but we knew not to. Remember the saying, don't pinch, sail fast. We got ourselves up north of the Western Key Peninsula. That choppy water we just sailed into was a counter current. That's basically a back eddy that sits there all the time. So we hooked into that back eddy and let it carry us. The calm water north of it was going down to Nicaragua like a river. We worked our way up and entered the harbor.
We looked for mooring balls north of Princess Margaret Bay because of its protection, even though we knew it would be a loud anchorage. Dogs barking all day, roosters quacking at midnight. It's rough. Village life is rough. But this anchorage has a lot to offer. From fun times to laundry being picked up, diesel get delivered to you, and of course, the famous floating bar, Bar 1. Of course, we had to check it out and enjoy the heck out of it. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to do the Belmont walk. Instead, we went back to the boat and gotten ready for dinner. Max Pizzeria was the place that was recommended. They have a lobster pizza, and since we've never had lobster pizza, It was something for us to try. I tell you what, it did not disappoint, and since then I've been ordering lobster pizza wherever I go. From there, we headed back to the boat and called it a night.
Our passage plan from Bequia back to St. Vincent was quite a technical one. We had light air that was very fluky, but it felt very lifted when we came out of the harbor. 9 nautical miles, a little over 2 hours, and we had converging winds around the island, which did all kinds of funny things. We rode the highest wave in our 9 years of sailing because of the diverging coast and Bequia Island. The breeze that went over St. Vincent, the friction of the island was bent very significantly to the left and pushed on the air that was coming down the channel. We sailed out at what we thought was a lift, but it quickly ended up being a header. The current coming up along the coast was really strong because it was very deep and there was no protection from it. So we chose to go the route along the coast of Bequia, even though the conditions were fluky and a bit rolly. We went over big waves there. The roughest seas are known to be at Bequia Head.
What's going on, guys? Look at you, surfing and turfing.
Instead, we used the protection and got up into the easterly breeze. It was 10 minutes of chop, but kind of fun. Then it went, and it was sort of all good again.
We were safe back at the marina and the end of a beautiful birthday sail.